Alright, what is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be making another video where I just kind of unbox some cool stuff I bought. This is a huge package I got from Japan, and there's absolutely no way I'm going to fit this on camera. So, unfortunately, I'm just going to have to take things out one at a time and show them to you like that. I kind of wish I had a better setup for showing, like, overhead stuff, but I really don't. So, for now, just have to deal with this. Hopefully in the future I can do some better type of setup for situations like this. But this is all I've got for now. And before I get started, everything that I show in this video was bought using a service called Sendico. I'm not sponsored by them, but I do get a little bit of like a commission if you use my referral link down in the description. And it pretty much just lets you order things from Mercari, Yahoo Japan, Rakuten, and a few other websites and get them shipped overseas. So prices aren't too bad. I personally have had no issues with it. I ended up paying, I think, $80 for this entire box. Obviously not for the items, but just for the shipping, which for the amount of stuff that I got, as you guys will see, that's pretty fair. But anyway, let's get started. The first thing that I got is this right here. So, some of you might know, this is a Nintendo Famicom. This was what the NES looked like in Japan. However, there's something a little special about this. Unfortunately, the box is kind of messed up. I wish it was nicer, but I just gotta live with it. Anyway, you can see on the box, controllers have square buttons instead of the round buttons that they usually have here in America, and most of the Japanese ones. This is actually a first edition Famicom, so this was like one of the original release units. Pretty much, instead of the normal plastic round buttons that a lot of Famicoms have, and the NES once it got localized, these have square rubber buttons, which are just not as good. And they ended up getting recalled, I believe, because people were just having a bunch of issues with them. So, it's a cool thing to have, and I'm really glad that I have it, but I'm obviously never really going to use it because these controllers are just not amazing. But let's pull the system out of here just so you guys can take a look. You can see right here, here's the Player 2 controller. It's got those rubber buttons. Player 1 controller on this had actually been swapped, so you can see it's got circular buttons. I would like to have it completely original, but I actually ended up buying a second Famicom that had square buttons, so I can get the buttons back and swap them out and make it fully original. But that's pretty cool. Close this box back up, and on to the next thing. So, something that I actually just realized, maybe I'll figure it out once I get back into here, but this next console was supposed to have a box with it. I don't know if sometimes they'll kind of repackage things in here, just so it makes more sense. I hope that's what they did, because I really only bought this because of the box. Let me actually go and just check really quick to make sure I'm not crazy. Yeah, this is definitely supposed to have the box, although I think I see why it's like this, so we'll see. Hopefully nothing too bad happened. But right here, another Famicom. This one's very, very dirty, which isn't a gigantic issue. I think it'll clean up fine. It actually doesn't look that yellowed. I think the majority of that just comes from the dirt, but that'll definitely need to be cleaned out. But this is just one of the normal later revision Famicoms. Controller's a little messed up, but it's not the worst thing ever. This is more like, you know, your normal NES controller, how you would expect it to be, with the circular buttons right here. Like I said, hopefully that box is in here somewhere and they just kind of reused it for something else. I've also got this, which came in that same order. This is the Famicom 3D system. So if you guys didn't know, in Japan they actually had 3D glasses made specifically for the Famicom. And it pretty much just plugs into the expansion port on the Famicom, and they're kind of active 3D glasses in a similar way to some 3D TVs that were popular around like 2010. I believe the PlayStation 3D display actually works in a similar way, where it has two different shutters that kind of open and close on the glasses, and that shows you two different images that kind of flash left and right on the screen. I've never tried this out. I've never tried any active 3D glasses before, so this will definitely be a fun one when I do a full video on it. Everything seemed to be in here when I purchased it. Yep, you can see the glasses are right here. Very cool looking. They're very similar to the ones that were made for the Master System, although I think those were more like actual glasses instead of goggles. But this is a really cool one, and the box looks nice. Next up, here we've got a Famicom disk system. So this actually goes along, I'll kind of stack them together to show you, but this lets you play floppy disk games on your Famicom. Just something that we never got here. Basically, this was at a point where ROM chips were pretty expensive, so cartridges were getting a lot more expensive if they wanted to fit more data onto it. So it was easier for Nintendo to make these things that were basically floppy disks, and they would stick into the front of the disk system, and then this would plug into your NES or your Famicom, and you could load games off of that. They also had like kiosks where you could rewrite games and just some cool stuff. So pretty much you would have your Famicom, it would stick on top of it like this, and then there's like a little RAM adapter, which I believe should be in here, as long as they didn't forget something. It's probably going to be buried down in this box. But there should be like a little thing that sticks into the cartridge slot that actually connects the disk system to the console. And most of those don't work correctly just right off the bat, so I'll definitely have to try it out. I'll probably have to mess around with it a bit to get it functioning, but they're usually fixable. This is another Famicom. This one's a little bit more yellowed than the other one. However, it has both of the square controllers. So I'm hoping with everything together, I can kind of combine them and get one really nice unit. So we'll see. I'll have to kind of mess around with it. I don't even know if they all work. I'll definitely have to try things out and kind of swap pieces around. But this one I literally just got for the controllers, and they're in really nice shape. I mean, this one's a little scuffed up, but it's not the complete end of the world. There were people selling just the controllers for what I paid for the whole system, so it just kind of made sense to get this. Okay, we're saved. I see the Famicom box down here. I have no clue why they separated it. Maybe the way that they shipped it was like that, and they didn't really think about it. I feel a lot better now. I was kind of... This one here, most of you probably will have no idea what this is, unless you're insane like me. So there's a bit of a theme with this entire unboxing. Most of the stuff that I got was very similar, and you will see why that is when I open this up. So this is probably the rarest thing that I've got from here. It is definitely something I've had on my list for a long time. I wouldn't quite consider it a grail. Maybe to some people it is, but I mean, there's way crazier that I'm after. This is just one that I've been wanting for a really long time. All right, so you might be wondering why I bought a piece of like 90s office equipment, it looks like. But as you can see from these things that are attached here, this is actually another Famicom. So, in Japan and kind of in America, with one thing that they made, Nintendo and Sharp kind of had a partnership. So, in Japan, they had the Sharp Twin Famicom, which I actually have one of, and I would like to make a video on it at some point. They released the Sharp Twin Famicom, they released a version of their hotel unit, the Famicom box, and then they also made a TV called the C1, and we actually got our own version of that, just called the Sharp Nintendo Television. So, most of their partnerships and everything were in Japan, including this, although we did get that TV in America, which is kind of neat. But this is called the Famicom Titler, and to people in America that probably doesn't mean much, because probably thinking, what is a titler? Basically, before computers were really capable of doing like a lot of video editing, people would buy titlers, which let you put captions and little graphics and things up on the screen during a video. So basically, it would have a video input from a VCR or a camcorder or something like that. This would handle your text and your little images and whatever. And then that would go out to probably another VCR or to your TV to then record it. So, very complicated process, but at the time, I guess it's all they had. But for whatever reason, Sharp decided that it was a good idea to put a Famicom in this. So, as you can see right here, it's got the slot. I believe this kind of activates the titler mode or the Famicom mode. But there's a slot here for cartridges. There's two little spots here to put your controllers, which is something that they do in Japan a lot, and I really like it. So you can just see they kind of, maybe they slide it upside down. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, it's like this. Yep, just kind of facing in. They slot right in. There's this, which is like a little touchpad. This thing is a little dirty. I definitely have to mess around with that and clean it up. But yeah, I actually bought an aftermarket power adapter that should work with it. So that's cool. I've had that sitting around for about a week, and I've been just waiting for this thing to come in. But yeah, it's got a bunch of different functions and things like that I definitely like to mess around with in a full video. Next up, this one I just got because I thought it was hilarious. It's really stupid, and I don't know if I'm ever even going to use it, but I just thought it was really funny as like a decoration for the game room. So this may look like another Famicom, but this one actually technically isn't. So it's basically just an empty shell. And really cool, it has the square buttons on it, which I think is nice. So I think they made 2 versions of this, one with the square buttons, one with the round. And it's just kind of cool that I got the one of the more rare console. But this is actually a tissue box holder. So I have a box of tissues right here, although it's a little tall. So it's not going to fit in there perfectly. I think this is made for some of the kind of small rectangular ones. But I can at least show you guys the concept. So the idea is you would kind of put it like that. And then you'd pull your tissues out of the little cartridge slot, which I think is hilarious. I guess I can kind of show you the side. Obviously, like I said, the box is a little big, but I think that's really funny. And just one of those weird pieces of merch that, for whatever reason, they decided to make in Japan that we never got. Obviously, I don't really know how you do this with an NES shell, so I guess it makes sense that only they got it. But something like the Super Nintendo, it could have worked. But yeah, I paid definitely way more than I should have for this thing. I think it was like $50. But, I mean, it's just really cool. I think it's hilarious. And inside of that, they actually packed some of those cables and everything I was looking for. So we've got a Famicom RF adapter. I think that went to the loose unit. I got a game, which I actually ordered to go along with the 3D system. I just realized that this does not come in the original case. So I'm not sure exactly how everything fits in here. I'll have to kind of mess around with that. But it is a Famicom Disk System game called Falchion, something like that. This is what those discs look like. They just kind of slot into that Famicom Disk System. But yeah, I definitely don't know how this is supposed to go in here. Maybe it's just supposed to kind of sit in and then this does something? I don't know. But I ordered this because it's one of the few games that's actually compatible with the 3D system, and it's a disk system game, so it'll be really cool to kind of put all those pieces together and make a video showing it all off, hoping that everything works. Let's see, we still got quite a bit to go. So here are 2 power adapters that they bundled together, plus that RAM adapter I was talking about. So basically this just slots onto the top of the Famicom, and then this plugs into the disk system right here. So that's that missing piece I was talking about for that whole tower. Here's a couple of AC adapters. I think this one goes to the disk system. That one goes to the actual Famicom. We're almost done. So got another power cord. This one kind of feels a little weird. I don't know if it was replaced or if it's aftermarket. I'm not sure, but it's got a gray cord. Here's the box for that Famicom. I mean, there's a chance that there's another Famicom in here. I actually have no clue if they just included 2 of them in this listing. I thought it was only 1, but I guess we'll find that out. That would be really funny if I have 4 now. Although the way it's feeling, I think there might be another one in here, because it's definitely not, like, empty. I've got it out of the bag, finally. So let's see what's in here. Oh my god, there's another Famicom in it. That's hilarious. So I'll show a picture of the listing right now. The way that it looked like it was the box, and then for the picture they took the Famicom and the disk system and everything out of the box. Maybe if I read it, I would have known this, but apparently it just came with 2 Famicoms, which is pretty funny. These controllers are immaculate. Like, they look almost perfect. System is super yellowed, unfortunately, but those can always be swapped around and changed and Shells can be switched. I can make a really nice system out of all of these parts now. Foam and everything looks clean. That first one was kind of nasty looking, but I mean, this box and everything is super nice. Almost done. That's it for the systems that I got. However, I do actually have... Oh, I forgot to put the paperwork with it. Comes with all the manuals and stuff. That's pretty neat. Along with a lot of these lots, like with that one there with like the 2 Famicoms and the titler, they came with a bunch of games. Games that I really have no idea what they are, aside from 1 or 2 of them. Ones that I'll definitely have to try out, but it's not anything that I actually really have any knowledge on. So let's start out with the classic Super Mario Bros. 1. I actually have Mario 3 on a Famicom cartridge, so it's cool that I have the first one now. That's neat. Big stack of 6 games. Let's see, we got Atlantis by Sunsoft. Too bad it wasn't Gimmick, but, you know, we'll take that. We got a... I can't remember the name of this little cat guy. I know he's popular in Japan. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But this game, this one here, I can't read Japanese, so I'm just going to show them to you guys. Really not able to translate that, unfortunately. Got this one here, which I believe I actually know what this one is. I think this is like Marlin's Castle or something like that. This one is a complete mystery. I have no clue what that is. No label, nothing like that, front or back. So we'll just have to find that out. Maybe this one's worth a lot of money. I don't know. And then we also have this one, which I also can't read. But yeah, pretty cool getting those all basically for free. So overall, lots of really cool stuff. But I do actually have something else that I ordered that is equally as big. I had to ship it in a separate package, but I'll probably be just covering that in one video because it's just one single item. But that should be here in the next couple weeks. I'm not sure exactly when I'll get to making a video on it, but watch out for it because it is way cooler than almost anything in here. Probably on par with the titler, maybe a little bit more cool, but you guys will see. So if you enjoyed the video at all, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out in the description, I got a bunch of links. I got an Instagram, Discord, my website where I post pictures of my just really cool stuff and some teardowns and things. So make sure to check all that out. I have a Twitter also, that'll be down there. But yeah, make sure to check out that link down in the description if you want to order some stuff for yourself off Sendico. Like I said, I get like $1 commission from each order, so it's nothing crazy. But if you want to help support the channel and buy some cool stuff for yourself, definitely make sure to check that out. But yeah, anyway, guess I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.